Coming up on the 49ers Report, an NFC West rival, the Los Angeles Rams, making a move to bolster up that defensive line by trading for Von Miller, is Brandon Aiyuk, following a pretty solid performance yesterday against the Chicago Bears out of the doghouse. Deebo Samuel, the numbers that he's putting up, absolutely ridiculous to historic proportions. We'll get into that. Also, will San Francisco trade Jimmy Garoppolo going into tomorrow's NFL trade deadline? But first, the season is saved, at least for another week. So if you're pumped up about this Niners win over the Bears on the road, 33-22, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's talk some Niners. Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. Give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. Today's show presented to you by our friends at Manscaped. If you want 20% off and free shipping on the best men's grooming products, head to manscaped.com/49ers. That link in the description as well as the comment section of this video. So we start off with some trade news that does include San Francisco because an NFC West rival, the Los Angeles Rams, making a pretty big trade with the Denver Broncos to bring in Von Miller, one of the greatest pass rushers in the history of the NFL. Adam Schefter broke the news early on Monday morning. Blockbuster. Broncos finalizing a trade to send 8-time Pro Bowl linebacker Von Miller to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for 2 second-day 2022 draft picks, league sources tell ESPN. Miller is now saying his goodbyes to his friends at the Broncos training facility. And over time, Von Miller has become one of the greatest pass rushers in the history of the National Football League. And this is already a Rams defense that features a lot of studs like Aaron Donald as well as Jalen Ramsey. They have premier playmakers on that side of the ball. They're bringing in yet another premier playmaker. Now, in 2021, Von Miller has been pretty solid. I think he's going to be able to help the Rams over the course of the next several games to round out this regular season schedule. There's no doubt, though, that age is a factor in some of his declining play. Injuries are as well, as he narrowly escaped a severe injury a couple weeks ago. That worked out for Denver because they were able to be sellers here and make this trade. But this year, Von Miller, 19 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, and 9 quarterback hits. So the production's still there, just not as elite as it's been in years past, because Von Miller has been in the league causing destruction against opposing offenses for such a long time. It's not a hyperbolic statement to say that Von, one of the best pass rushers that really we've ever seen, lace him up on a football field. Career stats over the last decade, straight up phenomenal. 509 tackles, 110.5 sacks, 26 forced fumbles. So that goes to show you the game-wrecking nature in which he plays with, and 225 quarterback hits over the last decade. What this trade signals to me, I love the aggressiveness that the Rams front office and how they approach these types of moves. People out there are probably saying, how do the Rams have any cap space to make a trade like this and bring in a player like Von Miller? They always get creative with some of these salary cap gymnastics, and they find a way to make it work. And by doing this move, the Rams are clearly swinging for the fences. They are clearly going for it, and they believe that they can win and compete for a Super Bowl right here in this season. NFC West standings right now, with the Cardinals going down on Thursday to the Green Bay Packers, a phenomenal game, by the way. It's the Rams and the Cardinals tied atop this division at 7-1. San Francisco not in last place in this gauntlet of a division after that win against the Bears yesterday. They moved to 3-4 on the season, and the Seahawks without Russell Wilson, they're a bad football team. You know who ain't it? Geno Smith. Yeah, that's just facts. So San Francisco, if they do make a move prior to tomorrow's NFL trade deadline, you already know we're going to have you covered right here on the 49ers Report, in addition to free daily videos hitting you with the latest news and rumors, all reasons why you should subscribe. We'll be going live tomorrow night. Subscribe and join us if you haven't already done so. Yesterday during our watch party, which was a massive success, we surpassed 43,000 subscribers. We're the largest news and rumors channel covering the 49ers out there on YouTube, so be a part of the faithful family here at Chat Sports. Next up on the docket, some really positive signs with this whole Brandon Aiyuk situation. We've been talking about the former first-round pick a lot here on the channel because up until yesterday, his playing time was a little bit down. His production was down. His targets severely down. But he, by far and away, had his best game of the 2021 campaign against the Chicago Bears yesterday, and I don't even think it was close. And that's a really good positive development for him and his confidence, but also with how well Deebo Samuel is playing, who we'll get to here in just a moment. If you have a legitimate 1-2 punch of Samuel and Aiyuk to the likes of what we thought going into this season, Niners offense is going to be in a really good spot. 4 catches on 7 targets yesterday for Brandon Aiyuk. All season highs there, 45 yards with a long of 23. And really, in some critical situations, he was able to move the chains and pick up some third down conversions. It's crazy how it's already November, which means holiday season is right around the corner, including Thanksgiving. I can't wait to have a full plate. You know what's on my plate now? It's the best men's grooming product tools that I'm able to use and utilize in my life every day thanks to Manscaped. And I'm thankful that I'm able to use these Manscaped products nowadays because prior to using Manscaped and prior to me coming here at Chat Sports, I didn't use Manscaped. So I'd use these cheap razors and I'd get all cut up below the waistline. So this holiday season, when I sit back and think, Chase, what am I thankful for? I am thankful for all of the great men's grooming products that Manscaped has to offer, including the new Lawnmower 4.0. The technology on this thing is just phenomenal. 4 interchangeable blades, a battery life that lasts forever. There's a light so that you can see what you're doing down there on the nether region. I like athletes when I scout them who have versatility to their games. The Manscaped product's also very versatile. And in the holiday season, if you want to give a gift to somebody, hey, you go atop that pecking order within your family if you hook them up with some Manscaped products. Once again, manscaped.com/49ers. Enter the promo code 49ers. You get 20% off and free shipping. More stuff on Brandon Aiyuk here as I just kind of put some thoughts together after I went back, rewatched the game, and had some takeaways from what Kyle Shanahan had to say about him. I liked his usage in the formation. I thought Kyle Shanahan was in his play calling bag yesterday, finally able to get into a rhythm, and he got creative with how he used Aiyuk all across the formation, finding ways to just get him involved and get the ball in his hands. Because when you're an offensive play caller, you want to rely on your talented athletes to do work and do damage. Best way to be able to do that, give them the damn football. Dear Kyle Shanahan, thank you so much for finally listening to me. I said last week, bubble screens, jet sweeps, quick hitters, pop passes, whatever you have to do to get Brandon Aiyuk more targets, more catches, more production to increase the confidence of your first-round pick from a year ago who's clearly suffering from a lack of confidence. You just got to do it. Kyle Shanahan was able to do that yesterday. Here's what he had to say about Aiyuk in agreement with me, saying that was his best game of the season yesterday. Quote, B.A. played his butt off today. He was great. I knew he had a chance going into the game. He strung together a number of good weeks here, and I felt like this was the week where his game really went up in practice. So I guess we're looking at a situation where Brandon Aiyuk, formerly in the doghouse, is maybe escaping the doghouse or altogether not in the doghouse any longer. Niner gang, what do you think? Producer Jack Lauderay went to Arizona State, just like Brandon Aiyuk, covered him when he was there. And you know what? I think Aiyuk played well yesterday because Jack was producing 49ers Watch Party. Is Aiyuk back? Type B for back. Type W for he has work to do. Submit those votes in the comment section right now. From one young wide receiver to another who really is having a historic and marvelous start to the season through the first 7 weeks. Deebo Samuel. My gosh, the guy is putting up numbers. Let's break it down for you and simplify it because it is pretty wild. No 49ers wide receiver has ever had more receiving yards through 7 games than what Deebo Samuel has right now. He also leads the NFL with 3 150-yard receiving games. The all-time record held by guys like Antonio Brown, former Niner great, the GOAT Jerry Rice, is 5. So Deebo is within striking distance of making more history. And right now in the NFL, among all wide receivers, the only guy he trails with receiving yards is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. We're going to show you these numbers. Sit back, marvel at them, and just appreciate that Deebo knows, and you got Deebo on your side, baby. 44 catches this year. 819 yards through the first 7 games, 117 yards per game, and a combined 5 touchdowns. 4 of them coming through the air, 1 of them on the ground. Most receiving yards in the NFL right now. As I mentioned, it's Cooper Kupp number 1, it's Deebo Samuel number 2. Right behind him, Jamar Chase, the rookie wide receiver out of LSU who's been balling out for the Cincinnati Bengals. Devontae Adams, the right-hand man for Aaron Rodgers with 744 yards this year. And Chris Godwin of the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers in fifth place right now with 660 yards. Deebo's 83-yard catch and run on that little quick-hitting pass on 3rd and 20 saved the San Francisco 49ers season yesterday. It just did. And his ability to pick up yards after the catch, the athletic attributes that he possesses in terms of his ability to really create for himself and this offense with the ball in his hands, makes him one of the most dangerous weapons across the entire National Football League. Yesterday's 83-yard near touchdown catch was the greatest example of that. Flipped the game, changed the momentum, got this offense with a little bit of rhythm and momentum, saved the Niners season, able to lock down that dub as well. Niner gang, chime in once more. Is Deebo the best wide receiver in the NFL right now? I don't think it's crazy to say that he is, given the production that he's put forward in Kyle Shanahan's offense this year. And credit to Shanahan for how he's been utilizing Deebo Samuel. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Once again, get those votes in the comment section right now. Last talking point before I get on out of here. Producer Jack Lauderay continuing to kill the game here. Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan had detractors and haters breathing down their neck yesterday. And Jimmy Garoppolo, like Brandon Aiyuk and like Deebo Samuel, when the Niners offense needed it the most, had his best game of the 2021 season. 17 of 28, 328 yards, 83 of them coming on that Deebo play, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and man, how about the mobility from Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday? Kyle Shanahan was calling plays like it was Trey Lance back there, and it was the same result. Jimmy on those design runs in goal line situations, able to get into the end zone in front of around 100 family members and friends as he returned to his home state of Illinois. Jimmy Garoppolo needed to step up, and he was able to do that yesterday, and he did it in really impressive fashion. But we're going into the NFL trade deadline tomorrow. So should the 49ers trade Jimmy Garoppolo? Some people are talking because there are quarterback-needy teams who are either in the playoff hunt or projecting into the future, don't have a firm answer at the quarterback spot. And with how Jimmy G played yesterday, his trade value could be the highest that it's been in a long time. This coming off that report last week from Seth Wickersham's book that the Niners had denied and turned down a second-round pick from the New England Patriots around draft time in a trade that would have sent Jimmy Garoppolo to the New England Patriots to reunite with Josh McDaniels as well as Bill Belichick. These quarterback-needy teams could all be in the market for a quarterback to the likes and caliber of Jimmy Garoppolo. The New Orleans Saints, Jameis Winston, out for the year. Torn ACL, also damage to that MCL. Baker Mayfield continues to play abysmal football. I don't know if he's going to get sit long-term, but Kevin Stefanski's probably thinking about it. Washington football team, Taylor Heineke is a high-level backup who's getting paid like a high-level backup. He's not a long-term starter. The Denver Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater is what Teddy Bridgewater is, and if Drew Lock can't beat him out, that tells you everything that you need to know. And the Houston Texans, they fought hard at the end of that game against the Rams, but you know who ain't it either? Davis Mills. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is better than a lot of the quarterbacks on those respective rosters or some of the backups that some of these teams are having to play. I would be straight up shocked, and I mean flabbergasted and floored, if the 49ers traded away Jimmy Garoppolo. It would be a borderline savage move by John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan to trade away Jimmy G, considering their loyalty to him and how they've been gassing him up and sticking with him through a tumultuous season this year. But Pro Football Network did put together an article taking 2 approaches for why San Francisco should trade Jimmy Garoppolo and why they shouldn't. Here's why they think the 49ers should trade away Jimmy G. Any snap that Garoppolo takes with the starters is one more snap Trey Lance will need in the future to get to where he needs to be. Lance appeared in just 19 games in college, including 0 at the FBS level. Meanwhile, he's logged 111 snaps through his rookie season's first 7 games. And yesterday, you saw the benefit of playing and starting consistently a rookie quarterback with how Justin Fields was able to perform yesterday and the development that you're seeing from him and the growth week in and week out. We know that Trey Lance is the future of this franchise. He's going to be the face. It's just a matter of when, not if. You move up to number 3 and you exhaust all that draft capital to select him, he's going to be your starter at some point. And if he is the starter, I see what Pro Football Network is saying here, that he needs as many reps and as much experience as possible so that come next year, he is ready to lead a Super Bowl-ready team to the promised land, to the playoffs, but you can't get better without any playing time. But going back to one of the original points, Kyle Shanahan is pretty loyal to Jimmy Garoppolo, and he has stood by his side in a campaign where Jimmy Garoppolo's really just been okay. But once again, let me double down on this, that I would be straight up flabbergasted and floored if the Niners, coming off Jimmy G's best game in a long time, I mean, maybe even going back to that 2019 Super Bowl season, if they traded Garoppolo prior to tomorrow's NFL trade deadline. If it happens, you know we have you covered right here on the 49ers Report. That's why you subscribe. Before I get out of here, Niner gang, should the 49ers trade Jimmy G? I'm actually fascinated to see what your responses are, especially if they get some decent value back. Be honest here. Let me know. T for trade, K for keep. Thanks for making the 49ers Report a part of your day. And a Monday is always better when we have a 49ers victory to talk about.